Me got baby face, me big boss man. Me like America, me got good plan. Mexico water make Gulf US survey. Me make Zelensky say thanks to my face. Me got baby face, me got big chair. Trump bad, Trump good, me no care. Me write big book, kill billies and stuff. Now me important, wait I act tough. Me go Yale school, me learn big word. Now me forget everything me heard. Silicon people give me job, me take. Now me like Trump, me make no mistake. Yo, it's JD Advance. Me fight walk folk, me say never die. Me protect kids, me born liberate. Him, them, there. America simple, only two gender. Me face, me big boss man. Me like America, me got good plan. Mexico water make Gulf US of A. Me make Zelensky say thanks to my face. So many gender for my agenda. Went on a bender, executive sender. Might take Panama just like na. Might take Gaza, pop then a plaza. With this one majesty.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome into CobraCast 199. I am your host, Jeremy Prime Mage IDOT of Unit 199. Happy to see all of you here on a Sunday. Wasn't sure if there was going to be one today, but as Lord Botha just says, there are days I'm like, will there be a CobraCast today? And then I remember the answer is yes. Always yes. Damn right. As long as I can, make it happen. I am on a limited time tonight because, it is what it is, but we're going to be here for a bit, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. We got time. We got a lot to cover, a lot to catch up on. Daniel Moore says, hey, quartering here. The dark pies of the forced is the pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural, or one could say unbecoming. Yeah, thank you. Joe C. Texas quartering coping tax. I just said, I just want to leave it as it is, man. Just leave it as it is. I take no pride in someone having to shut down their Twitter replies and their YouTube comments because of little old me and little old casino. I take no pride in that. So I am... no more beef here, man. When somebody shuts down their Twitter replies and YouTube comment section and blocking people, it's obvious that just got to back off, man. Just got to back off. Homicidal violence says a pad kid pulled. I'm being very careful about whatever the fuck you said in this member message. Techno Viking Vance for $1. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Anyway, it was a busy day. I watched the Daytona 500 today with my family, and it was a pretty good race. It's a pretty good race. Didn't end the way I wanted it to. Outside of the fact that Michael Jordan is a team owner, his team won, which was awesome. I was pulling for Kyle Busch, and when Kyle Busch wasn't going to win, either Ryan Blaney or Chase Elliott, but none of them. But we got a lap 3 memorial for the late great Dale Earnhardt. But it was a really good race outside of the middle part where the Toyotas were blocking, saving fuel. That was super gay, but yeah, it was a good race overall. Daniel Moore says, is it possible to learn this power? Okay, I'm done. Habs says, cured my TDS tax. Thank you. I appreciate that. Vault 199 says, this CobraCast is getting in the way of the gaming streams. Listen, I'm going to try my best to bring some gaming back this week. Okay. Quartering, you want to talk about a dead channel? That would be my D-Day Cobra gaming channel. That is legitimately a dead channel. When's the last time I streamed over there? Whew, that's a dead channel. Let's try to revive that one this week. I got way too many channels. It's hard to keep up with all this shit. Eye Candy says the quartering is slow to get started, but then pow, all at once like an unexpected cream pie in the eye. I'm just reading super chats, guys. Just reading super chats. Can't blame me. I'm just reading super chats. Soundwave Superior says, have you seen the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles G.I. Joe figures? They announced 199 hashtag no more beardos. I did see those. Many people had tagged me in them. I need to take a closer look at them, but I did see them. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, this is a big, big moment. Okay. This is a big moment for many people. Okay. I'm excited. You're excited. We're all excited, aren't we? Are you excited? Because we have, hang on, what the hell, man? Why is YouTube freezing up on me? YouTube's not even loading for me right now. Gosh, I fucking hate technology, dude. I hate technology. Maybe it's because I'm retarded, but when I have a YouTube screen pulled up and all it says is page won't load, reload, and then I have to continue to wait for it to load. So anyway, we have breaking news, though, ladies and gentlemen. The breaking news is, sir, another glove has been found in the Breaking Guthrie television show that has been breaking records across the United States of America. Sir, another glove has been found in Breaking Guthrie. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Here we have it. FBI says glove found with DNA appears to match gloves of suspect. There's always a glove. So let me get this straight. They have no clues. This person is literally Batman. They have no clues on this guy. Okay? None. They have no leads. They have no suspects. They have no idea who this person is. And now this guy is apparently just leaving gloves out in the wild for the authorities to find 2 weeks after this old woman went missing. What are we doing? Like, seriously, what an absolute joke this is. This is embarrassing. This is unbelievable. But let's see what the update is.
Breaking this afternoon in the search for Nancy Guthrie, the FBI says one of the gloves recovered appears to match the gloves of the suspect in their surveillance video, and the FBI has recovered DNA from it. Let's bring in retired NYPD.
Did they say appears? So they don't even have a definitive statement on this shit. They don't even have a definitive statement. They're saying it appears to match. They can't even confirm if it matches.
Lieutenant Darren Porcher. Darren, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
What is your reaction to this breaking news on the search for Nancy Guthrie and specifically the glove with DNA in it?
Well, Mike, this is not just a lead. This has the potential to be breaking news because this is the crack in the case that we're looking for. How can we apply an identification as it relates to who we saw in the video to a DNA sample? And fortunately, this seems as if it's going to come to fruition because we're going to run this and we're going to place this information into the CODIS database to see if this individual, in fact, has DNA in the CODIS database. The CODIS database has information for all individuals that are arrested in the 1990s up until now. And
he sounds like he's doing like a 80s Mike Tyson impersonation. You know, it's distracting.
Hopefully this will be what we need to garner us into the directional path of rescuing Nancy as well as bringing the perpetrators to custody as in relation to this case.
There was a big SWAT team FBI raid late Friday night that got a lot of us excited. I was watching very closely.
Yeah. It got a lot of us excited because we were thinking something's going to happen. And guess what? Nothing happens in this case. Nothing happens. The planet will for 20 says, dude, the Breaking Guthrie is killing me. Good. Too good. Hail, brother. Hail to you. Listen, I don't know if I'm the first person that came up with the breaking Guthrie meme, but I think I am. I think I am.
But it did not produce any arrests. Does that disappoint you?
Well, Mike, it is disappointing, but at the same token, we have to take in consideration there was a magistrate that signed off on this warrant.
Who is this
in
guy?
order for a magistrate to sign off on a warrant, there needs to be probable cause. And oftentimes, the magistrates or the judges will demand information to support if probable cause exists as it relates to what law enforcement brings forth. So it's an unfortunate occurrence, but this also shows that the men and women in law enforcement are vigorously working towards gaining a lead to concluding this case with an apprehension and bringing Nancy back home. So I don't see it as an error. I see it as police doing what's necessary to bring Nancy back home.
Listen,
2 weeks later, do you think?
again, tell me this doesn't sound, this guy right here, this who he sounds like.
I was going to rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. Lennox is a conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody as ruthless. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children. Praise be to Allah.
Bro, Tyson was on another level of crazy back in the day.
Do you think Nancy Guthrie is in that close radius to her home, or do you fear she's far from Tucson at this point?
Well, Mike, we're 60 miles away from the Mexican border, and that's oftentimes been a point of contention as it relates to the international line and her possibly being brought there. I'm optimistic, and I genuinely believe that this is a localized operation, and I think that she's in the local area. However, one of the things that's being done right now is, based on her pacemaker, we have now flown overhead devices to try to connect with the pacemaker to to see if we can find her in this localized area. So I'm hopeful that she's still in this area of Tucson and we can bring her back.
Let's go back to the breaking news.
The breaking news is I forgot about one of my favorite Mike Tyson interviews, which is this one right here. This is legendary.
Mike, were you really sick this week? What was the problem?
I broke my back.
What do you mean by that? You broke
back.
Jim Gray was like, wait, what? He had no idea how to respond to that.
Were you really sick this week? What was the problem?
I broke my back.
What do you mean by that? You broke
my back is broken.
What, a vertebrae or
Well,
what portion?
Spinal.
You did that in sparring?
No, I did it probably a motorcycle accident. The doctor discovered it. I was doing my sit-ups 2,500 a day with my 20-pound weight, and one day I couldn't move anymore. And I asked the doctor, what's wrong? And he said, believe it or not, it's wearing your back is broken slightly.
So again, it's nice to have Mike Tyson as a Fox News reporter. He's really rebuilt his reputation over the years. Actually, what's funny, and thank you for the raid, Nerdrotic raid. Hail to the Raiders. But he's actually working with the Trump administration, shockingly enough. Mike Tyson loves President Trump.
To the moment, which is that glove that appears to match the glove that we've seen in the surveillance video of the suspect. How confident are you, or how excited are you about that development leading to our suspect?
I'm extremely excited and elated, and this shows the tenacity of law enforcement to move at breakneck speed to try to gain a clue as it relates to cracking this case. I genuinely believe that we're...
Dude, the fact that we have a Mike Tyson impersonator that has shown up during season, what are we in? Season 3 of Breaking Guthrie? I don't even know what season we're in. I'm going to be honest with you. When I was memeing on the Breaking Guthrie thing, I did not think we would be this far into it. I felt like we would be done with this. I've lost count of the meme. So are we season 4? Is that where we're at? Season 4 based on the meme. So season 4, Breaking Guthrie, we have a Mike Tyson impersonator showing up. All right. Unbelievable. What do we call him? What's this guy's name? What do we call him? Black Excellence, Jeremy. This is Black Excellence. No, let's call him Mike Oscar. You know, you got Tyson chicken, you got Oscar Mayer wieners. Let's call him Mike Oscar. All right. Alfonso Tyson is good. Alfonso Tyson is really good. Let's see. Michelle Tyson, Mini Mike, Temu Tyson. Temu Tyson's probably the best one, actually. Temu Tyson's good. Temu Tyson. We'll go with Temu Tyson. Oscar Alfonso. Let's see here. Miki Tyson. But anyway, Breaking Guthrie continuing to introduce new characters, which this is what made Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul such a phenomenal series. You just introducing new characters. Carlton Tyson is actually the best one. I'm making an executive decision. Carlton Tyson. Oh, Judicon just said it too. Carlton Tyson, 100%. Carlton Tyson, book it right there.
We're going to have a positive outcome as it relates to the analysis of this DNA. And this is a key component in getting us to that point. So going back to what you asked me, I'm excited about it. And I think that we're going to have a positive result in cracking this case.
Yeah, let's hope and pray we get some answers and bring Nancy home to her family. Darren Porcher, thank you very much.
Thanks, Carlton. Appreciate that.
Thanks, Mike.
Now, if you really want to hear, if you think that we have not reached the crazy, I'm going to repeat before I show you this. I did not make this line up. What I'm about to show you is so ridiculous, you would think that I made this up as a meme. But I didn't. This is a direct line from TMZ about the Breaking Guthrie case. If I did not confirm to you that this was an official headline from TMZ, you would think that I made it up based on memes. Here we go. TMZ, Nancy Guthrie could be found 1 hour from now, or it could take weeks or even years to locate her. And people wonder why I'm memeing on this story. Are you kidding me? I'm going to repeat this one more time. Nancy Guthrie could be found 1 hour from now, or it could take weeks or even years to locate her. Do you know what this reminds me of right here? This line right here. Hang on just a minute. Here we go, right here. This line right here. This is what it reminds me of. Patrick Bateman.
Maybe. I don't know. Not really.
That's what. Maybe. I don't know. Not really. That's literally what this fucking headline is right here. Oh, goodness. No sound? You didn't have any sound, Lady Aaron D? Everybody else heard it, right? I don't know if it just didn't work for you. I heard it. Let me know if everybody else heard it. Low audio. Okay, well, I couldn't. The low audio is just on the YouTube's end, so. Not really. That's so weird that you guys didn't hear that. So, So it was just low? Is that what it was? Okay. Well, I don't see another. By the way, I would just recommend this right now because I'm a big Christian Bale fan. If you've never seen American Psycho, trust me, it is one of the single greatest acting performances of all time from Christian Bale. It was super low. Okay, got you. One of the greatest acting performances of all time from Christian Bale, and highly, highly recommended. Well, with that said, Nancy Guthrie could be found 1 hour from now, or it could take weeks or even years to locate her. Man, thanks for breaking that down for us, TMZ. We would have never known otherwise. Thank you so much for this incredible insight. Wow. How do you do it, TMZ? So TMZ continues to be the primary character in this disaster. And right here, now you've got right here, this guy says, don't see any investigative advantage to releasing this information. That's because they don't know what they're doing.
In former ATF special agent in charge, Bernard Zaper. Bernard, what do you make of this report on the glove that was found, male DNA?
Bro, this guy's name is Bernard Zaper. He's literally a TV character. His name is Bernard Zaper. It's like a legitimate version of Ryback. You know, he's like a Chad version of Ryback.
Hey, that's all they're saying so far. That really could be anybody.
It could be anybody, and I'm actually surprised that this information has been made public. And I'm also very surprised that the scanning for the pacemaker telemetry is made public.
Who's Ryback? A loser.
Regardless, the investigators are not standing by for this DNA results. They have to go back, retrace everything they've done, and it's never a matter of waiting. They always have to be leaning forward into the investigation to see if there's any gaps, anything they can follow up on, and anything that newly matches and things that might have been before disconnected seemingly.
He wants TMZ to feed me more, feed me more. If you know, you know. That's a very, very funny comment.
Also kind of a teaching lesson that maybe if you're searching for somebody in the desert, you don't want to discard your rubber gloves afterwards. I mean, if they found a dozen gloves and they think many of them belong to searchers, that's only complicating the investigation.
It certainly just makes it more cumbersome for them. But luckily they found something that was an outlier, and perhaps this is going to be something they need that's going to result in probably expediency.
I've heard from a few people in the chat that say that they are kind of in this kind of general area. I'm curious if anybody in the chat is from this general area. If you want to share that information, you obviously don't have to. If you don't want to, that's fine. But how much has this impacted this local area? I'm curious about that, because it has to be nonstop. I mean, you've got YouTube reporters out there, you've got mainstream media, you've got cops, you've got investigators, you've got everything going on. It's got to be kind of distracting for the area. I don't mean the wider area, but specifically, we've had a few people say this is like a few miles from me. So I am curious about that.
In the case, let's hope for that.
So, you know, that helicopter that's flying with the Bluetooth scanner, you think they should not have released that information. But does it seem like, does it seem like a, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I just don't see any investigative advantage to doing that. And same with the DNA information, because, you know, if somebody's watching and that's involved in this and they're monitoring news, and now they know that this is taking place, that could cause them to flee and leave a place where they're...
Bernard Zaper. He could be our Mike Ehrmantraut. I really hope this guy continues to be somebody they interview. This could be our Mike right here. Absolutely. Dude, like if you made a TV show and you had a former ATS special agent, retired special agent, Bernard Zaper, fucking right, dude. I'm in. I'm absolutely in.
Stationary. So if this was never put out, they wouldn't know that that's happening. And so if they did happen to pick up something, telemetry from medical device, then they have something to act on. And so, you know, it's not investigatively or tactically advantageous to let the adversary, in this case, whoever abducted or is responsible for the harm to Miss Guthrie, to have that information. I just do not see any purpose to it whatsoever.
The helicopter, it seems like a bit of a, you know, stab in the dark to be flying this helicopter over looking for Bluetooth, a Bluetooth transmission from her pacemaker. That's a fairly weak signal, isn't it? This helicopter is going to have to be very low. It's going to have to fly that grid pattern. And, you know, who knows whether they're going to be able to pick up anything or not.
I'm confident that the investigative team have spoken to the manufacturer of that device, and they're aware of its capabilities and limitations, so they feel that this is a worthwhile investment of time to do it.
Here's what Morgan Wright had to say. He knows a thing or two about Bluetooth and electronics. Listen to this.
A helicopter creates a lot of interference, sometimes electromagnetic interference, but that's why they're flying low to the ground. So the reason you fly low to the ground is that's low power Bluetooth. But if we know, and I'm sure this is why they're doing it with that
slow news week, not really. There's actually a lot to talk about. There's actually a ton to talk about. But I find that this story shows the incompetence of basically Democrat leadership. And it shows the path that TDS takes you down as well. Because as I've, referenced many times, the main reason that I had any interest in this case is because the woman, Savannah Guthrie, who just uploaded a video, by the way, that we're going to cover, she has TDS. She has Trump derangement syndrome. And reportedly, so does Nancy, her mother, her missing mother. Apparently, reportedly, so does Nancy. Now, I'm not saying just because someone has TDS that this justifies them going through a tragedy. I am not saying that at all. My stance on this is that you clearly are against law and order. You clearly are against removing illegals from the country. You're clearly against removing drugs from the country. You're clearly against, closing up the border. You're for open borders. Like, all of these things add up to it. So when crime comes to your front door, when you actively support people that don't want to do anything about that shit, I find that to be a bit ironic. Now, that's not to say that it's deserved, because I'm not saying that at all. But it's just an interesting scenario.
pacemaker. It has what's called a MAC address, a machine addressable, but that's the unique identifier for it.
So worth trying, I guess, but you just think that they should not have let the information out there.
Yeah, I mean, why give advantage?
You hear that? Our boy, Mike Zaper is about to call it like it is. He's about to call them out on their bullshit.
Should not have let the information out there.
Yeah, I mean, why give advantage to the adversaries? In this case, you have people that are actively trying to probably evade capture. And more importantly, you have a woman who is taken against her will in unknown health condition. And so they need to do everything to be circumspect about the case for them to have the maximum advantage of recovering her.
You've done an awful lot of investigations. Does it surprise you that we're 3 weeks into this one and no solid leads yet, or so it would appear? I mean, if you thought at first that maybe this was a well-planned, well-organized abduction, that would be one thing. But the guy standing on the porch in that creepy video doesn't exactly seem like a top-tier criminal.
You know, there's a lot of investigative resources put at this, and I think
that's the fun. Again, not trying to make light of a missing person. I'm not. I'm making light of law enforcement. And I'm going to have to keep putting that disclaimer out there because I know people are going to clip me saying I'm saying this, I'm saying that, blah, 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 whatever. The funny part is this guy clearly doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. And they have no idea who he is. That is a very, very bad situation. This guy has no clue what he's doing.
Making the best progress that they can. And although some parts of it seem simple, it's actually overly pretty complex to go from knowing nothing to getting to the point where they're probably at now. You know, secondly, it's very difficult to speculate when you're on this side of the investigative veil because we don't know what's really happening and what the investigative team has. So I hear and see, from my opinion, that they're having progress, and we can hold hope that they're fully into this thing for a good outcome.
Yeah, and I don't mean to criticize either. That's not my intention here. But when the sheriff says, well, it could be this investigation could take a few hours or it could take years, it doesn't exactly, kindle enthusiasm or kindle confidence in people.
I'm sure the investigative team is ignoring all of that type of information or noise, and they're concentrating on the facts at hand and the things that are leading them to give more information that they can act on, because that's what they're really hungry for. They want stuff that's timely, that all of a sudden it bounces off of another piece of information that may have seemed disparate at the time, and then they have something to act on. And so whatever's going on politically in the media or noise or speculation that's happening in the national attention on this, I'm confident the investigative team is hyper-focused on finding her.
All right.
Well, listen now. Now, I'm not saying that this is confirmed. In no way, shape, or form am I saying this is confirmed. However, we may have a prime suspect. Apparently, this individual in the shirt and tie is a local chicken joint restaurant owner. Some say he looks familiar. I don't know what you're talking about from that perspective. But this could be our primary suspect right here. This could be. But I'm not saying that anyone has, confirmed that, anything like that. It's just something I heard on our subreddit. So I'm just bringing that up as a basic concern so that everybody can be aware of that, so we can know, what's happening. Now, we also have this right here from Litton, who says your channel is under attack. You're broke, penniless. Just take the help he's offering. You poor lol cream pie tax. Litton, I love you, but I got to correct you. All right. We have updated because of Harley Dave, and then with an assist from Tree Bear. It is not my channel is under attack. It is my channel is under a tax. My channel is under a tax. That's the new meme brought to you by Harley Dave and Tree Bear. So my channel is under a tax is freaking beautiful. I love it so much. So anyway, really good. Really good. So check this one out. All right. Apparently, investigators now believe that Nancy Guthrie's abduction was an intended burglary. Harley Dave says approved. Hail to you. So this right here, a new development in breaking Guthrie.
Hi, guys. We are now able to independently confirm some new information in the Nancy Guthrie investigation. This is from an inside source that is now reportable. I want to take you through the new information we've learned. We can now report investigators now believe this was a burglary gone wrong. We've interviewed multiple experts since this began who also said, based on the evidence, the surveillance video, and other aspects of this case, that they also believed this was not an intended kidnapping. As for Friday night's operations, law enforcement activity, we can now report from our inside source that DNA evidence is currently being tested.
So I just want to, and I'm going to assume that we have a lot of women in our chat tonight, because every time I happen to play a female on screen, everybody in the chat says would, talking about me. And I appreciate that, guys. I do appreciate it, but I'd rather you just send me super chats instead of like make sexual comments towards me. I'm not here to be easy on the eyes for you. I take a lot of credit in the fact that, I'm a respectable journalist here. I am a great YouTuber and a respectable journalist. I have a lot of integrity, and I would just appreciate if you guys didn't, make those remarks towards me. And I mean, it's flattering. It is flattering. Every time I see everybody go, would, I'm like, I know you think I'm attractive, but I'm off the market, and I'm here to report on really important news. But thank you so much.
Was found from that Range Rover at the scene outside Culver's. You could see when investigators were there, they put up a tarp that they were doing some sort of investigative work there. And last, but probably most important, the widespread belief by investigators tonight is that Nancy Guthrie could be alive. We'll keep you up to date as we learn more. We are working on many things behind the scenes, but again, tonight, big updates. They believe this was a burglary gone wrong. DNA evidence is being tested from the Range Rover, and the widespread belief by investigators is that Nancy Guthrie could be alive. Stick with us. We'll bring you the very latest.
Honestly, if she's alive, okay, if she's alive, it would be like one of the craziest stories ever. And let's just do this. Let's just say this, okay? If she's alive, it's going to make me question the authenticity of this whole story. I'm not going to believe this story is real if she's alive. I'm just not. Now, with that said, we have more updates on Breaking Guthrie, so stand by. So Breaking Guthrie, we have more updates. And the latest update is that Savannah Guthrie has uploaded a video, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Savannah Guthrie, the daughter of Nancy, has uploaded a video. And I want to give more context to this because I know more and more people come in here and they're asking, you know, about like, let's see if I can find it. Boom, boom. So many people keep asking, like, what's my interest in this whole thing? And my interest is going back to Trump and Savannah with this interview right here.
Announce white supremacy in the moment.
So this was in the for the was this 2020 or 20? I think this was 2020 election, and this was Savannah Guthrie interviewing President Trump, and all it was denounce white supremacy, denounce bad behavior, denounce bad things, denounce kicking puppies, denounce QAnon. That's all it was.
Point blank to denounce white supremacy. In the
Shorty Short, so Jeremy, it's your channel. You don't have to justify what topic you decide to talk about. I know, but listen, I've talked about this before. Back in the day when I would listen to sports radio a lot, I learned how you're always getting audience people, rolling in every 10 to 15 minutes. And so you want to update the audience as to what's going on. So if you're in the middle of, say, a 20-minute topic or a 15-minute topic, you always want to take a step back and just kind of reset so that the audience is coming in kind of understands what you're talking about. And so that's why I back up and go, okay, here's what's going on. Here's the reason why I'm talking about this, yada, yada, yada.
The moment you didn't, you asked some follow-up questions. Who specifically? A couple of days later on a different show, you denounced white supremacy.
No,
my question to you is,
you've done this to me and everybody.
Why does it seem like
I denounce white supremacy? Okay,
you did.
And by the way, he's already denounced white supremacy about 1 billion times. It's never about whether he's denouncing it or not. It's about a gotcha question. That's all it is.
2 days
denounced
later.
White supremacy for years, but you always do it. You always start off with the question. You didn't ask Joe Biden whether or not he denounces Antifa. I watched him on the same basic show with Lester Holt, and he was asking questions like Biden was a child.
Well, so this is a little bit of a dodge.
Are you listening? I denounce white supremacy.
Okay.
What's your next question?
Do you feel, it feels sometimes you're hesitant to do so, like you wait a beat.
Here we go again. Every time. In fact, when people came.
He denounces it, and then they have a problem with how he denounced it. This is why I'm interested in this case.
I'm sure they'll ask you the white supremacy question. I denounce white supremacy.
Okay.
And frankly, you want to know something? I denounce Antifa, and I denounce these people on the left that are burning down our cities that are run by Democrats who don't know what they're doing.
While we're denouncing, let me ask you about QAnon. It is this theory that Democrats are a satanic pedophile ring and that you are the savior of that. Now, can you
stop it? I was already going to vote for him. I was already going to vote for him. Now I want to vote for him even more.
You just once and for all state that that is completely not true and that disavow QAnon in its entirety?
I know nothing about QAnon.
I just told you.
I know very little. You told me, but what you tell me doesn't necessarily make it fact. I hate to say that. I know nothing about it. I do know they are very much against pedophilia. They fight it very hard, but I know nothing about it.
They believe it is
If
a
you'd like
satanic
me
cult
to
run by the deep
study the
state.
subject, I'll tell you what I do know about. I know about Antifa, and I know about the radical left, and I know how violent they are and how vicious they are, and I know how they're burning down cities run by Democrats, not run by
Republican
Republicans.
Senator Ben Sass said, quote, QAnon is nuts, and real leaders call conspiracy theories conspiracy theories.
He may be
Why not
right.
just say it's
Can I be
crazy and
honest?
not true?
He may be right. I just don't know about QAnon.
You do know.
I don't know. No, I don't know. I don't know.
Let me
tell
ask you
all
another
about it.
thing.
Let's waste the whole show. You start off with white supremacy. I denounce it. You start off with something else. Let's go. Keep asking me these questions.
I do have one more
let
in
me
this
just
vein.
let me just tell you what I do hear about it is they are very strongly against pedophilia, and I agree with that. I mean, I do agree with that, and I agree
But
with it.
there's not
very
a
strongly.
satanic pedophile
I have
cult
no
being run
idea.
by-
I know
You
nothing
don't know
about
that? Okay.
No, I don't know
You
that. And
just
neither,
this
neither
week.
do you know that.
Okay, just this week
Why,
you
why aren't
retweeted.
you asking me about Antifa? Why aren't you asking me
'Cause you
about the
just-
radical left?
'cause you're
Why aren't
volunteering
you
it.
asking Joe Biden questions about why doesn't he condemn Antifa? Why does he say it doesn't exist?
Because you're here before
Antifa,
me.
no, excuse, so cute. Antifa exists.
So that's the context as to why I'm so interested in this story. Now, with that said, Savannah Guthrie releases a new post on Instagram, tells her mother's kidnapper that it's never too late to do the right thing. Guthrie says she believes in the essential goodness of every human being, unless you're part of QAnon, unless you need to be denounced. Over and over and over again. Here we go.
I wanted to come on, and it's been 2 weeks since our mom was taken, and I just wanted to come on and say that we still have hope, and we still believe. And I wanted to say to whoever has her or knows where she is that it's never too late. And you're not lost or alone. And it is never too late to do the right thing. And we are here. And we believe. And we believe in the essential goodness of every human being. And it's never too late.
Except for those racist and sexist and MAGA supporters. But outside of them, we believe in the goodness of every human being. Now, I think this is a good time to remind all of you that this moment happened about a week ago. About a week ago, right here. Everything about this alleged disappearance of Savannah Guthrie's mom is off. On the left is Savannah at a press conference. On the right is a scene from Silence of the Lambs. Most of you have seen this, but here we go.
She is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see.
Catherine is very gentle and kind. Talk to her and you'll see.
So, obviously that was pointed out pretty quickly after that happened, that it was a direct line from a kidnapping scene and a grieving mother in the Silence of the Lambs. Very, very weird. Very weird. The whole thing is weird. And I have little confidence that it will be resolved anytime soon. And we just continue to get new characters. We continue to get new, we've got product placement. So, I mean, Culver's has been introduced recently. and Zoom, Ozark backpacks. No, not Zoom. Ring doorbells have gotten product placement. You've got Ozark backpacks, Culver's now. Pretty soon we're gonna get introduced to an assistant manager at Culver's who may be a prime suspect. We've got Carlton Tyson. Carlos has been a character. Harvey Levin from TMZ is kind of the main character and one of the primary suspects in a lot of people's eyes. Savannah Guthrie and her family have been, in terms of the internet, have been, people have been suspicious of her. And ultimately, the thing that's so weird about this is that, to my knowledge, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe, as it stands right now, the son-in-law is the last person that saw Nancy Guthrie alive. I believe. And Mike Zaper. Yeah, I forget about Mike Zaper. I believe the son-in-law is the last person that saw Nancy Guthrie alive as it stands right now. So, where is this guy at? Don't know. How much have they investigated him? Asked him? Don't know. I'm not saying he's guilty of anything. I'm just saying that after 2 weeks of nothing, 2 weeks of no suspect, no leads, no nothing, I think I would start asking questions to the last people that saw her alive. I think I would be interested in that. But hey, who am I? Let me grab a few of these super chats. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. Didn't even have to title this algorithm friendly to get over 3,000 people here. Dead channel tax for sure. Soundwave Superior says, have you seen? I got that one. Shorter Shirt says, literally Batman tags. Miniature Revante says, all the quarterings drama started because he misunderstands channel stats, then freaks out over misreading. He's the kind of guy who panics, sells all his crypto after a loss, at a loss after 2 days of a downtrend. John says, in most missing person cases, the family is making daily requests on camera for the loved one's safe return. Sorry to sound like a broken record. No, I get it. I mean, we've heard from Savannah Guthrie 4 times now on camera, and that's it. 4. Let's see. Fum off you says, if I were the Guthrie family, I would take all these idiots to court. They botched up this investigation from the start. Hail the 199. That is true. The police department, which we're going to talk, we got another story surrounding the sheriff department here in just a minute. They have botched this big time. Nerds and Comics says, why did Nancy go missing? Savannah interview women survivors 6 years ago. One went missing. That's why this happened. She questions things. MIB. I also brought up that theory that she had been missing from the Today Show and the ratings actually spiked while she was away. And then reportedly were saying that she was panicking behind the scenes. And then all of a sudden this story happens conveniently. So, Shirley BS for 10 says, would #skirt fund. What's up, brother? How you doing? Marmillan says, I want Culver's now. Mushroom Swiss burger is awesome. Their curds are dog shit, though. The butter burger at Culver's is to die for. That was probably bad timing on that. But the butter burger is worth getting kidnapped. No, that's not. The butter burger's really good, okay? The butter burger's really good, okay? Sorry, not trying to be sensitive. I don't want to be insensitive. Sherry Allen says, I have to stop watching so much Breaking Guthrie. Last night I dreamed I was kidnapped, but the G&G gang found me. Hell yeah. See there, man? We know what we're doing around here. VJ the Vigilant says, Hail Snake Pit. It was a good day today. Cain Velasquez, is that how you say it? Is a free man released from prison earlier. I got the notification on my ESPN app while I was watching the Daytona 500 about that. He was sentenced to I want to say he was sentenced to 5 years in prison, but he got probation, I think. Maybe it was 10 years. I can't remember. John Orchard says, we unalived bin Laden and had his DNA match faster than finding his DNA. Honestly, somebody said this the other day. Okay. I don't remember who said this. Probably Alex fucking Jones. I don't know. It wasn't Alex Jones, but it was somebody that we were watching. I feel like somebody said, do we even know if bin Laden was real? Do we even know if he was a real person? Just saying. Do we even know? MJ in the house. There's probably in the H in the house. If Mike Tyson broke his back, damn it, Mike Tyson broke his back. You damn right. AI bin Laden? Maybe. Are you a real person? I could be AI right now. You never know. Grandis Potato says Mike Bison. Twisted Clown says El Moreno. Phil says, so what will we get first, Nancy Guthrie or GTA 6? That's a great question. Chat, are we going to get Nancy or GTA 6? That's a good question, actually. Grandis Potato says, calling it now. TMZ has Nancy in the basement. Southeastern Kaiju says, found first, Nancy G or Malaysia Airlines 370. Ministry of Wrong Things says, breaking tonight. Is it 80? Oh, a bomb. You had to misspell it. Will either fall on your head or not. That's one of the best lines ever. Can I find that really quickly? God, when he said that, that's one of my favorite lines ever. Hang on. Like you've got like, is this it right here? Here we go.
Ceasefire.
All right. This may be my all-time favorite Trump quote. When a journalist asked Trump this question, it's the greatest thing ever.
What if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now?
It's the greatest thing ever. This is the president of the United States of America. A journalist is asking him questions. He's like, shut the F up.
What if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now?
It's so good, dude. It's so good. Oh, man. That's amazing. That is amazing. Litton for 20. It says, Jeremy's under attacks. Has to fire Beardo, and he'll be out on iDrive with the boots working for cheeseburgers the hard way. Got to do what I got to do, brother. Thank you, Litton, for the $20 super chat. Marmillan says, yes, he was. Billy Wah was tracking him in his 70s before the Twin Towers attack. He did write up a very convincing argument on stopping him. And of course, our CIA said, no, Billy is a badass. Well, there you go. I guess just because, I don't believe anything. Like I've talked about this a million times that because of how much propaganda has been pushed in the last decade, I question everything that was ever fed to me in the public school system. Everything. You say why, like war? Oh, is that it? Okay. There's no way I knew how to sound that one out. So, but yeah, I mean, I just question all the bullshit that they've been saying. Eric says, I speak for the chat and the mods. AI host looking like Yanette Garcia would be a massive improvement for CobraCast. Honestly, that is a way that this channel, you know what? We need to get her on the rotation for some super chats. I think you guys would like that. Okay. Joe Bit says, feed me more meat on the table. Twisted Clown says, she will be found camping in the woods. That's a Saul Goodness reference. Better Call Saul. Zevin Cross says, feed me more, feed me more. Wake up. Sorry, had the urge to do this. Also, YouTube made me have to censor this for some stupid reason. Sorry to hear that, man, but thank you. John says, here's another weird thing. No search parties, no volunteer groups, no search and rescue. This is just abnormal. It feels off. Everything about this feels off. Every single element feels completely weird. And I just don't understand it. I don't understand any of it. Southeastern Kaiju says, like with Ocean Gate, I think they already know. That's a good point. Moto Geek says, channel under attack tax. Bumblebee says, I heard Nancy Guthrie has a copy of Titanfall 3. Save Nancy right now. You know what? G&G crew's about to head over there. We're going to Tucson, boys. We are saving Nancy. If she's got a copy of Titanfall 3, all hands on deck. We're gonna stop grifting. All hands on deck. Fentanyl Floyd says somehow Nancy teen returned. I'm being careful with. I don't know if you're trying to. Again, I don't know if you guys are trying to trip me up to say something with super chats.
All right. Smelly Negro. I love that name. Which hockey movie chant I swallow knickers come? No idea.
Yeah, I don't want that one to happen to me. So Twisted Clown says Guthrie and Epstein, it could be a live conspiracy. Nerds to Comment says, you missed my super chat. I got it. Captain JPS says, I don't care about this. For all we know, Trevor Phillips or Stephen kidnapped the mother. She's cleaning his trailer as we speak. Tyre Retro Gamer says, eating every kidnapper's favorite Culver's right now. Scooter says, CIA used cartel to snatch Nancy. SG and her husband have dirt on Obama. Epstein, NG is alive with her meds provided. She will be home soon. DP whatever your name is, Olympic Village out of condoms, thousands greater than 3 days. Vic Chavez says, my favorite Trump quote is him talking about China. Somebody had to do it. I am the chosen one. And that one was really good. Okay, so next up, we've got this. Pima County Sheriff ripped as questions grow over Guthrie search. Quote, amateur hour. Amateur hour.
Host of the Guy Benson Show on Fox News Radio. Horace Cooper, Project 21 chairman. Leslie Marshall, Democratic strategist.
And somebody said, Jeremy only watches Fox News. Yes. Would you rather me watch CNN or MSDNC? So again, I always stick to mainstream outlets because of this copyright bullshit. I got a strike. I got hit from KTLA. And so, and of course, I have, as it stands, I have won my counter appeal. But yes, KTLA hit me with a fucking copyright strike on this channel, not a claim. So just so you understand, a claim is where they claim the footage and they get the revenue, not super chat revenue, but ad revenue for replays and all of that. A strike means that they take the video down and you can only get 3 strikes on a YouTube channel and it gets deleted forever. They gave me a fucking copyright strike. So crazy. So anyway, I won my counter appeal, at least as it stands. We'll see if they want to take me to court over it. We're still waiting to see that. But this is why I stick to mainstream outlets instead of like more local outlets or something like that.
And Josh Kraushaar, editor-in-chief of the Jewish Insider. Welcome to all of you. This seems to be one of those things we can't stop talking about. Leslie, what's your take on where we are in the case?
Nowhere. I mean, sadly, we were just talking about this in the green room.
Camera's not even working. Camera's not even working.
But I'm gonna, spill some of it. I personally, and look, this is just my opinion. I have always felt that
tried to extort me. Yeah. So the further reference to that is that when they hit me with the strike, I contacted them directly and I said, hey, gave my channel a strike. I'd like to resolve this. If you could just release the strike, I'll erase any of the footage that you don't want me reacting to. And they're like, well, if you pay us like $700, we can release the rights to you. And if you would like to join our subscription fee to all of the videos that we own, you can react to any of these for $1,000 a month. And I said, no, not interested. fuck you.
This was not a kidnapping for ransom. I don't believe in any of these ransom notes. Sorry, TMZ, stop reading them. It legitimizes the fakeness of it if that's the situation. I do think it might have been a robbery gone bad. I think that the guy in the video, we were just talking, I think somebody knows him. Please help, the authorities.
Wait a minute.
And
Did you say the guy in the video? Did you just assume the gender of the person in the video? Because what about this theory? What about that theory right there? Just saying. Maybe don't assume the gender until we get some more answers. Of course, this is a Democratic strategist, though.
also thinks he looks very amateur, going over and getting flowers and covering the Ring camera. It's a very dark area. All of the reporters have been saying that. Our reporters have been saying that. There's no street lights. So I just think this might have been a robbery gone bad.
Well, and Horst, there was some talk of whether local and feds were working together, but the local sheriff keeps saying, like, from day one, I've asked for and used their help. It's not a turf war.
This sheriff brings to mind the book Amateur Hour. I mean, this is a guy who appears not to understand some of the basic law enforcement responsibilities. You close the property down, no one can access it. You open it back up.
Yeah, so this is something that I don't think has been discussed enough. That they closed the property down, then they opened it back up for anybody to go in there. So at this point in time, even if they can capture whoever's responsible because of that, it's almost like none of the shit's going to hold up in court. I can't believe that this has happened.
And then you find people accessing. Apparently, it's pool cleaning day, and you just cross over the yellow tape and come in and clean. This is not the way that you make sure that you lock down. And so when the sheriff tells me that he believes that everything is great between him and the FBI, I say balderdash.
Well, and Josh, it included a pizza apparently being ordered to the property and walked right up to the door.
Yeah, there's been a lot of evidence, the video footage being the most significant, but I do get the sense, as Horace does, that there's been something of a Keystone Cops element to to this case. I've been watching a lot of the briefings from the Pima County Sheriff, and it just feels like we're not getting a whole lot of information. There's not been a whole lot of transparency, or maybe they just don't have the information to share, but it's been 2 weeks. And that's, I mean, these days with the technology, the DNA testing, you expect a more immediate follow through on a lot of the tips that are coming in. Now, this has been such a nationally closely watched case. It's difficult, no doubt, but boy, it's very slow progress for something that this significant, and there is a lot of evidence.
See, the problem with the mainstream media is that they're not willing to call. This is why YouTubers have dominated the mainstream media. This is why they're irrelevant from that perspective. This is why so many people tune into, quite frankly, retards like me, because none of these people are willing to say what's actually going on. What's actually going on is far more than what these clowns are saying. Far more. And that's why no one trusts what they have to say. None of them. There's like, well, it's a little strange. No. It's downright ridiculous. And we need to start calling it out for what it is. Nancy Guthrie and her family have shown incredibly concerning patterns of behavior since this has broke. And then you look back on who they were and the types of things that they supported, and the fact that we're 2 weeks into this and we have no suspects. The fact that the local law enforcement knew who these people were. They knew. Local law enforcement knew who they were. They were first to the scene, and then they opened the scene up to allow any fucking body to go, and then they shut it down again. It's fucking crazy. And nobody is calling that out. Not to mention TMZ's knowledge of everything that's going on, and the fact that Harvey Levin was blatantly named in the Epstein files. But suddenly, as soon as this story happened, suddenly we're not talking about Harvey Levin being very, very directly mentioned in the Epstein files, with Jeffrey Epstein saying direct things about Harvey Levin, backing him up and sweeping for him within the media. None of that's being discussed. So anyway, we shall see. But in terms of the breaking Guthrie element, I think that that's going to close our discussion, at least for now. I'm going to keep, if anything breaks, I'm going to bring it up, more of it up. But that's kind of where we are because we have more to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. Trans Girlie says, I hope you and your wife had a nice Valentine's Day. I did. My boyfriend might be pregnant, so the super chats might have to stop. Moving on. John says, what is sad is if we don't go and volunteer, we might do better. You could even grift with hats and shirts. Hey. The next thing we're going to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, so the Epstein files. Oh boy. Yesterday was a very interesting day with the Epstein files. We had a massive day with the Epstein files, but ultimately it's just this tweet right here kind of puts it into perspective. All right. Sort of Andrew Wilson, the Epstein files create so much emotional charge that having rational discourse about them is basically impossible. People want arrest, but they don't know who they want arrested. They want justice, but they don't know who they want justice for. Totally incoherent outrage, mob panic. That right there is the most accurate description of this entire story. It is absolute chaos. And I've been saying this for weeks. This is just nonsense. Release the full list. Trump, we can't release the full list because there are innocent people on that list who are going to get their names dragged through the mud. Release the full list, you're protector of pedos. Bondi, okay, here's the full list and everybody on it. Oh, they're doing it on purpose because they want to cover up for the crimes of pedos. That's why they released the list of all these innocent names. See, you can't win with people who are coming to the table with bad intentions. This is absolute lunacy. You wanted the names. You wanted everything. It all got dropped. And guess what? The same people that didn't talk about Trump and his banning of Jeffrey Epstein and the files are now talking about it. Moist Critical, one of the people, I'm going to put this at 1.5 speed, by the way. Moist Critical, one of the people who only talks about Epstein when he can build an anti-Trump narrative, he's upset. Just a complete lie about the Epstein files. Okay, well, let's hear what Moist Critical has to say.
Files that they're really digging in deep in the John Madden playbook for is all right, man. This new tactic that they're pulling out for the Epstein files that they're really digging in deep in the John Madden playbook for is unbelievably ridiculous, even by the standards the circus has already set.
You mean the tactic that people like you called for? You said release the list, release the names, release everything, release it all. This is what you wanted. Release it unredacted. Release it unredacted.
This is like if I pissed on your head, but didn't even try and call it rain. I just called it piss. I just say, hey, Buster, I'm urinating on you. And you're just supposed to like thank me for it. Last night, there was a big bombshell breaking. All Epstein files released. Pam Bondi announces DOJ has released all Epstein files under the Epstein Files Transparency Act, including justified redactions and...
Why is this guy so popular? Talking about Moist Critical. Listen, I like Charlie's content when he's talking about anything that's not political. I do. I like Charlie's content. I've been watching him for years. When he talks about pop culture or streamer drama or whatever, I find Charlie to be incredibly entertaining. Really do. When he talks politics,
a list of high-profile names appearing in these documents. When I saw that fresh little nugget drop there, I actually thought that there was a huge Epstein file dump where they actually did unredact everything. Maybe Pam Bondi getting biblically smacked down at that hearing the other day and embarrassing herself actually did lead to these files coming out, the remainder of them. But it turns out that's just a fucking lie. That's just a big time full blown fib. And of course, it was a speed run to community noted as people went to check only to learn there are no new files. What's being referred to here are the same files that came out a few weeks ago, the 3.5 million files from a couple weeks ago. And now the new thing here is, I guess after Pam Bondi got fucking farmed on Rust by anyone with even a single semblance of a brain at that hearing, she huffed and puffed and then farted out a giant list of names from anyone that was even mentioned anywhere, which includes people like Janis Joplin, who died when Epstein was 17. So this has naturally been called out by...
It also includes names like Donald Trump and Melania Trump. Nothing was redacted. You got all the names you wanted, and you're just still not happy about it.
By a lot of people saying to have Janis Joplin, who died when Epstein was 17, in the same list as Larry Nassar, who went to prison for the sexual abuse of hundreds of young women and child pornography, with no clarification of how either was mentioned in the files, is absurd, which it is. It's done on purpose with a sole...
Again, so when... It's like when you add clarification to one name, then you have to add clarifications to all names. The only way to be fair about it is to drop all of the names, don't redact anything, and let people get what they claim they wanted. When you start adding context to one name, well, then you got to add it to another name. And then if you add it to another name, well, then you got to add it to this name. Well, if you add it to this name, then you got, oh my God.
Sole intent of confusing.
You either want the names or you don't.
And muddying everything here. They combined the actual, real, evil child sex trafficking clients with just random people's names who appeared in emails like Janis Joplin. This is ridiculous, and it's just blatantly corrupt right in your face. There is no new files here. That is just a lie. Yet for some reason, it's being peddled by tons of people as if it's real. I guess they all got the call, so...
Okay, so first of all, you know I love Alex Jones. Alex Jones was like a fucking idiot through this whole thing. And it's not necessarily because of this right here, but Alex Jones looking really bad right now. I know we'll cover that here in just a minute, but Alex Jones is getting community noted to hell on his appearance on the Fresh and Fit podcast last night. It was bad. It was like Alex Jones was drunk and he was just saying all types of shit.
Alex Jones here, preaching about how Pam Bondi just unleashed the full Epstein files. She dropped her trousers and took a shit on this whole narrative that the Epstein files implicate anyone in this administration. In fact, it backfired bigly on the left, on powerful Dems like Bill Clinton. And others busted while fake smears against Trump are bullshit. Vindication for Trump. It's crazy how Alex Jones, for years, was talking about this elite pedophile ring that was raping and torturing and killing children. And now he has finally proven beyond a shadow of a doubt to be right. He was completely correct on that. And now he has to pussyfoot around the subject, just tiptoeing, walking on eggshells because some of his friends are in there. Dude went from secretly filming Bohemian Grove to being best buddies with its members. So now we all know that this is correct. Alex Jones could have taken a victory lap on this shit, but instead he's been preoccupied with 6'7" Labubu and whatever other dog shit that is. And anytime he mentions the Epstein files, he has to do so with Trump's cock in his throat about it. He only focuses on those easy, low-hanging fruit of the...
Alex Jones calls Trump out a lot, Charlie. Alex Jones calls Trump out a lot. Are you going to leave that context out, Mr. We need to add context? Are you going to add the context that Alex Jones calls Trump out a lot? Like big time. No. We're not going to add that context to this.
The Epstein files like Bill Clinton. Alex Jones explores the Epstein files like this with his hands over his eyes, really scared, making sure to put on the blinders so he could block out all of his friends' names, so he could laser focus on easy shit like Bill Clinton, who everybody knows is guilty in all of this. Real groundbreaking stuff, Goober. It's incredible what a paid shill this guy is. And I just saw he's doing like a press tour about how all of this is the result of Trump, by the way. He went in there and said, you got to release this now. It's time we fucking release everything unredacted. No more, softball in it. As if Trump was the reason this happened. Even after, for a whole year, Trump has been...
Charlie, who was president when Epstein got arrested? Please, if you could repeat that for me, Charlie. Charlie, are you going to add that context to your millions of viewers that Donald Trump was the president of the United States of America and his Department of Justice is the one that got Epstein locked up, which ties up consistently with Trump calling out Epstein and reporting him to the authorities back when he had this incident at Mar-a-Lago. Are you going to add that context, Charlie? Of course you're not.
saying it's a hoax, it's not real, move on, move on, move on. We got to stop caring about this Epstein stuff. Does anyone still care about this? No one in America cares about this. Yeah, Alex, I'm sure Trump is the one that went in there and really strong-armed the release of anything. And again, Alex Jones is saying all the files are released now. That is just provably false. That is not true. There are no new files that Pam Bondi just released, Alex. It should be obvious to anyone paying attention, or even just a smidgen of attention. You don't even have to like have your eyes glued to it or anything. Even just glancing should be pretty clear, painting an obvious picture that the powers that be are using Alex Jones as a very convenient mouthpiece to regurgitate their shit and defend them and do a lot of sweeping for them.
I don't believe that at all. I think that Trump at one point in time used to talk to Alex Jones. I don't think Trump talks to Alex Jones anymore. I can't confirm that. The last time I talked to Alex Jones privately, we talked about his relationship with Trump, and he gave me the blessing to repeat everything that we said, because he said, this is not off the record. You can repeat this. But he was just rambling, because it was after he made the appearance on the stream. And Alex did, at least for me anyway, Alex doesn't text. Alex sends voice clips. Like, he doesn't text. I'm texting Alex and he's sending me voice clips back. And I'm going, this is so weird. This is so weird. What I gathered is that him and Trump don't really, and again, this was years ago, so something could have changed since then. But at that time, it didn't seem like they were on speaking terms.
We are in an era where you have this information at your fingertips, and they are telling you, disregard what your eyes can see and listen to us and nothing else. It's so fucking scary because people are willingly doing it. You can check yourself to see if there are new files that dropped, and it only takes a couple of seconds to get the real answer. No new files have dropped. You can find the truth yourself, and it takes seconds. And they know that, so they're relying on you just being too lazy and too blind and too much of a sheep, so they can just feed you things and have you believe them without bothering to check. So they can just lie and say that Pam Bondi just unleashed the nuke on Epstein. All of it's right there, and it's only Democrats. Look at that, backfired bigly, and you won't bother to check it yourself. It's craziness, and it sucks that it works so well. If you do bother to do any amount of actual research on the Epstein files, you'll find it's more than just Democrats. It's Democrats and it's Republicans. It's a ton of the world's most powerful people that have engaged in some of the most unthinkable.
And yet you never called this out when Democratic leadership was in office. Why was Charlie never worried about this when Democratic leadership was in office? Curious about that. Like, I'm genuinely curious about this. Why is it now suddenly he cares?
Evil actions imaginable. And these monsters, these fucking worms, treat it like a joke. CoffeeZilla just made a video on it. Howard Lutnick in particular, he's always busting a gut laughing anytime Epstein's even brought up.
I am increasingly disgusted by the way this is all a big joke to lie.
Another person that fails to bring up anything that makes Trump look good, but he can certainly spin it when it makes Trump look bad. CoffeeZilla, another creator that I think is absolutely fantastic until he talks about politics.
Liars like Howard Lutnick, who deceived the American public about the status of his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein.
That guy was there. I wasn't going.
Now he testifies under oath that he actually went to the island of the creep and brought his kids.
We had lunch on the island. That is true, for an hour, and we left with all of my children.
Nevertheless, every time Epstein is brought up, this guy can't stop chuckling. Here's Lutnick laughing again when Trump is addressing a question about Epstein.
To talk about how to respond to the Epstein situation.
I never heard of CoffeeZilla. CoffeeZilla is a really, really good investigative YouTuber. He's really good. I mean, he called out Logan Paul. He's called out a lot of people. He's very good. He's very good at what he does, but he's also very, very biased when it comes to politics. It's clear this guy has TDS, massive TDS.
I don't know. I could ask you that question.
He thinks it's the funniest thing he's ever heard. And maybe it's because they really think we are buying it. Maybe it's because they think, hey, we're just going to get away with this. We can just keep, the lies are so brazen.
They are literally laughing in your face about it. They know they're getting away with it. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. It's just so brazen, like CoffeeZilla said. And then you have people like Alex Jones that are just parroting that same shit, like, everyone's absolved except for the people we don't like. And also, by the way, even if it was only the people you don't like that are implicated here and guilty, why aren't they being arrested? Ask yourself that question. Why are the people like Bill Clinton being...
Do you know where Charlie gets his? So I think Charlie, here's what happens, okay? You guys know who Angry Joe is, all right? Angry Joe follows me on Twitter. Angry Joe has told me point blank that I'm the only person on his entire Twitter feed that supports Trump. So Angry Joe essentially takes all of his MAGA talking points from the shit that I say on Twitter. That's it. He does no more research but that. And he's told me this point blank. He's like, that's it. He's like, you're the only person that I follow that supports Trump. You're the only person. And I was like, that's probably not a good thing. If I'm your, like, one singular source on anything is not good. Now, the reason I say that is because it sounds to me like Charlie Moist Critical, his entire knowledge of Alex Jones talking about Trump is people showing him clips of Alex Jones praising Trump. But Charlie has no idea that Alex Jones criticizes Trump all the fucking time. Because Charlie is not looking for the information to be honest. He's looking for the information to build a narrative. That's exactly what he's doing right here.
Being arrested. Why is nobody getting arrested for the Epstein files? I know I've already said this, but even if...
Hey, Charlie, I don't know if you're aware of this, Charlie. I don't know if you're aware of this because you've never mentioned it. But there was somebody arrested for the Epstein files. I don't know if you're aware of this. His name was Jeffrey Epstein. And also his accomplice, his girlfriend. I'm not sure if you're aware that happened under Donald Trump's leadership. I'm not sure if you're aware of that. Has anybody told Charlie that Epstein was arrested when Donald Trump was president? The same Donald Trump that apparently is covering up everything Epstein, but he didn't. He's covered everything Epstein up, but he didn't cover up for Jeffrey Epstein. What? Okay.
The only people that were guilty in here are the people you personally don't like. Why wouldn't Trump and this administration be going fucking full throttle, whole hog at them, trying to throw them in the slammer? Food for thought, I suppose. Perhaps it's because they know if they went down, it would put them at risk too, because it's not just the people you don't like. You are just so focused on the ones you don't like that you'll block out all of the other shit. You will not use your own fucking brain. Now, another big thing that's come out that it seems like a lot of mainstream media and a lot of Twitter personalities refuse to speak on is Epstein's potential ties to Israel. It's very weird. Yet no one really seems to want to.
You know what's interesting is Charlie is not going to compliment any of the people that actually call out Israel because his audience won't allow it. His audience won't let him mention Nick Fuentes in a positive way. His audience won't allow him to mention Fresh and Fit in a positive way. His audience won't let him mention Sneeko in a positive way. His audience won't let him mention any of these people, these prominent people that are calling Israel out. Charlie is not allowed to mention their names. So he's going to build this narrative that nobody is calling out Israel.
I want to talk about that connection. Why is that? I just find it odd how you have so many Twitter patriots and mainstream outlets that just outright ignore this potential connection of Epstein and Israel. And Israel is a very important subject in American politics.
According to Moist Critical, literally nobody is calling out Epstein and Israel. Are you kidding me right now? Epstein and Israel is one of the most discussed topics on the fucking internet. It's a massive story with massive personalities talking about it all the time.
It seems. Politicians can't stop praising them, glazing them, and Trump in particular, his mouth has become a glory hole for Netanyahu. So don't you think it would be something worth talking about and investigating if there is potentially a tie between Epstein and Israel? I mean, I feel like that would be something that a lot of people would want to know more information about to find out if it's true or not or what's going on there. Because again, every politician in this country, this administration and even previous administrations love to bend over for Israel.
I came in. Any mention of Nick Fuentes? Do you just not want your audience to know who Nick Fuentes is? Do you think your audience doesn't know who Nick Fuentes is? Maybe Charlie should go, you know, there's a guy. And to be clear, you guys know where I am on the anti-Israel stuff. That's not my argument here is that Charlie is being blatantly dishonest with his audience. Blatantly dishonest. Do you think that Charlie for a second could go, well, there is a guy who's been calling Israel out for years and he has been on point and he was doing this well before it was popular and he was deplatformed, he was debanked, and he has been censored all over the internet. He would never say it. He would never say it because he can't, because his audience would rip him apart.
To Congress 13 years ago, with the stated intention of being the leading defender of Israel in the United States Senate. Right. I've worked every day to do that.
We need America to wake up and prioritize Israel and bring home Israelis and make sure we stand by our #1 ally in Israel.
Sorry, what causes dear to your heart?
causes dear to Israel.
Oh, that one's so cringe. Good old Bongino. Israel, 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 Israel is so near and dear to my heart. Israel. And then Bongino's like, hey, you motherfuckers, you shouldn't be talking bad about me or the job I did. And he's like, Israel, Israel.
Defense of Israel.
What is number one? I have said to people when they ask me if this capital crumbled to the ground, the one thing that would remain is our commitment to our aid. I don't even call it aid, our cooperation with Israel. That's fundamental to who we, fundamental.
Miriam Adelson is amazing. What she has done for Israel, for our country, and for this world is second to none. Thank you, my friend. The sad truth is, for way too long, anti-Semitism has been allowed to grow unchecked in this country. Too many institutions have abdicated their moral responsibility to speak up.
There's an additional 100 clips I probably could have pulled, but these were the ones that were top of mind, and I think it's pretty clear that Israel is an extremely important...
Again, I'm just curious why he didn't put clips of the Hodge twins calling out Israel and the Epstein connection. Why didn't he put clips of Nick Fuentes? Why didn't he put clips of Elijah Schaefer? Why didn't he put clips of all of these people? Why didn't he put clips of Alex Jones, who has talked about the Israel and Epstein connection? Why didn't he do that? As a matter of fact, Danky, hate to add work to your workload here, but you should put all of those clips in this reaction at this moment to show the context that Moist Critical is blatantly leaving out.
Subject to the powerful politicians in this country. Fucking Ted Cruz goes as far as to say it's the sole reason he got into politics is to defend them. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I don't know how that's not treasonous. He is a representative in our country who is openly stating that his priorities are a foreign entity. Whatever, I guess. I suppose that's fine by today's standards. I don't really get how. And boy, howdy, isn't that Nancy Pelosi statement quite the eye-opener. Even if everything crumbles over here, we will still find a way to honor our...
Hang on. All right. Let me say this right here. There's a lot of Fuentes sucking going on with you lately, Jeremy. It's almost like you don't have ideas of your own any longer. Moral objection for you specifically. I am going to ignore everything I've ever said about how I don't like Nick Fuentes, so I can tell you I'm his biggest fan, so you will unsubscribe and go fucking cry. Go to fucking Officer Brandon fucking Tatum, and he can tell you what you want to fucking hear, okay? Go over to some motherfucker who gives a fuck, because I don't, all right? Fuck off.
Our aid to Israel. We'll start botting in RuneScape if that's what it takes to make enough money to send it to Israel. Damn everything else here, that's the most important part. Pretty crazy shit, I would think. I feel like maybe I'm on the crack pipe here, but that should be a little concerning that the politicians that are supposed to be representing this country seem much more focused on the interests of another. But anyway, my point is, with the release of all of these Epstein files, even though hundreds of the files are just completely worthless garbage that are fully fucking redacted, just nothings, there is still a lot.
It is. It's just annoying. It's like, I am not complimenting Fuentes as much as I am utilizing a point that Moist Critical is being blatantly dishonest with his audience by not mentioning any of the prominent voices that have been talking about Israel and their connection to Jeffrey Epstein. There are plenty of them. I don't care if you like the people I brought up or not. I don't, and I never will. I'm not looking for your fucking approval to give my opinion. I never have, and I never fucking will. I'm here to point out Moist Critical is lying to his audience. He is building a narrative that does not exist because you have a lot of low IQ people that are only watching him and him alone for their information. Then he's going to get 3 million views off this video, and then those people are going to go repeat the brainless bullshit that he spewed on the internet, and he needs to be checked on that.
That remains that showcases a potential connection of Epstein and Israel. Now, of course, nothing's confirmed or anything, but shouldn't that at least warrant some kind of investigation, at least some kind of poking around? This administration is very blunt about how little they care about the Epstein files. They literally say that. Trump always talked about how no one should care about this and move on. And also, they're very open about...
That's not what Trump says. That's not what Trump says at all. In fact, Can we play some of the clips from 2016 where Donald Trump was one of the first prominent political voices to bring up Jeffrey Epstein and Prince Andrew and Bill Clinton and the island and how bad it was? Donald Trump is the first major politician on a national stage to bring up Jeffrey Epstein. Moist Critical doesn't want to bring that up. Moist Critical isn't interested in that. However, he also isn't interested in telling you that when Trump is dismissing the Epstein story, he's not dismissing the crimes of Epstein. He's not dismissing all of the people that could be tied to him. He's dismissing the authenticity behind the anti-Trump movement that surrounds the Epstein story, which is 100% true. That is what it's motivated by. It's not about protecting kids. It's not about locking up bad guys. It's about getting Trump, taking Trump down. That's why Trump dismisses it, and he's right. Moist Critical doesn't want to give you that context because he is a liar.
We're probably not going to look to investigate anything. There's nothing actionable in there. Whoops-a-daisy. Can't do anything about it. Sorry. And, of course, Perjury Patel just continues to lie about it. But anyone that actually takes a peek at it should at least find it odd that a lot of these outlets, like journalist outlets, a lot of politicians, and a lot of the paid shills online are not talking about the Epstein-Israel connection in any capacity whatsoever. And when they do talk about Epstein as a potential spy, they always make a mention of CIA, or, maybe not being a CIA spy, but never going as far as to talk about a potential connection to Israel. That should be very weird. Why is that something no one would talk about when Israel is such a huge...
What's weird is that Charlie is sitting here pretending that he is straight down the middle on politics, and he's not. And that's the difference between me talking about things versus somebody like this. He is presenting this idea to people that I'm right down the middle. I'm not biased one way or the other, guys. I'm just giving you my honest opinion. No, Charlie has TDS. Charlie is a liberal. Charlie is a leftist. And he doesn't want to tell you that because he wants to operate with this idea that he's just looking at things objectively. I'm just looking at this objectively, guys. That's the difference between him and me and people like me. He's not willing to be honest about where he is coming from. I am.
Huge piece of this country, apparently.
Yeah,
Why?
As a matter of fact, we got a clip for Charlie. We have a clip for Charlie right here.
Liberal. Happy fun, la la la. Human smuggling, fentanyl deaths. Forced government euthanasia, chopping up children's genitals, la 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 la.
And we already know what Charlie's stance is on the mutilation of children because he's made that very, very clear. But he's not a lefty, Jeremy. He just believes in mutilating children. Okay.
Why wouldn't that be something that would be more discussed by the mainstream? It's all so blatantly corrupt. Anyway, just wanted to yap about this latest lie. That's really about it. See ya.
Woo, the projection off the charts. Just wanted to yap about the latest lie. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There's the latest update from Moist Critical. And, I mean, ultimately, we have to go right back to this, which is a perfectly stated tweet from Andrew Wilson. So again, I'll repeat what I said before. The Epstein files create so much emotional charge that having rational discourse about them is basically impossible. People want arrest, but they don't know who they want arrested. They want justice, but they don't know who they want justice for. Totally incoherent outrage, mob panic. That is 100% the truth around this story. This story is motivated by one thing and one thing only: to get Donald Trump. That's it. That's all it's about. River Miles for 10 says now next week next week and many years away tax. Louise says name someone who you want arrested, say a name, and what charges do you want? Exactly. They need to say that. Give me a name right now. And then the other thing too is like the people that are like on this like Epstein files crusade, they're like, we need arrests. Based on what? Based on suspicion? Based on accusations from people that you can't confirm? Like, what do you want? What you want is Me Too 2.0. That's what Epstein is right now. It is being completely overrun by Me Too people that are masking Me Too with the word Epstein so that they can just take down people that they want to take down. That's what it's about. That's all it's fucking about. And it's all because of Trump. That's the motivating factor of all of this. Marmillan says, where was Charlie Orzilla's video on the police transcript that completely exonerated President Trump and him trying to get Epstein thrown in jail years before any of this stuff broke? Zero mention of that to my knowledge. Maybe I don't watch CoffeeZilla's second channel, which is where he uploads a lot of his political stuff, but I do watch Moist Critical, not like consistently, but I do check out Charlie's stuff. And so Charlie, to my knowledge, never talked about it. And I'm pretty sure CoffeeZilla never talked about it. Let's see. Logan says, hail chat, Mod Lives Matter. Happy Jessica. Jeremy is gay. Nas says, I'm looking forward to the spinoff series, Better Rapport with Zippor. Let's go. Gerald Armstrong says, Thomas Massey is in the files. Should we arrest him too? That's right, Thomas Massey. So look, there's more to this that we have to discuss, okay? But the funny part was, this is one of the biggest political misfires in recent history. So Thomas Massey has been leading the charge for the release of the Epstein files. We need the names, guys. We need the names. Release the names. Okay, here's the names. Well, not those names. Not those names. What names would you like? What names would you like? Please let us know. Now, also, this one is hilarious. Oh, man. Thomas Massey's just getting crushed. And I couldn't be happier about it because he is a clown. Actually, he's not the clown. Thomas Massey is not a clown. He's the whole fucking circus, man. He really is. Now, this is where Alex Jones was on the Fresh and Fit podcast. Now, Alex was getting a little tipsy, sipping on Grandpa's old cough medicine. He had a few swigs of Grandpa's old cough medicine. And there's one in particular I'm not going to show, but he dropped the N-word a few times. And I'm talking the hard R N-word. Some would say I've dropped it in traffic. I cannot confirm nor deny that. But anyway, this is what Alex Jones had to say last night. And let's just listen to what Alex has to say.
He had meetings yesterday and today with his cabinet.
Oh, okay.
You mean
Trump
talking about Trump having meetings with his cabinet about the Epstein files.
This morning. Okay.
This is exclusive.
Yeah.
No one knows this. I've talked to multiple people, one that was in the room and other people that heard about it. And also people that were delivering my message, and which I'm here in Florida delivering to the family. Like, listen, you're committing political suicide, self-inflicted wound. We know you're not in there. I had Mark Mitchell go 3 months ago to the White House, show him the numbers. This is what's killing him. We know he's not involved already. We know it was over the stock market because I was with people that were at the meeting over a year ago, 13 months ago when he's president-elect. And they told him this. And I've said it probably 1,000 times on air. Folks, I don't agree with it. People said I'm covering up for it. I was just saying with their idea, their mindset. I'm not agreeing with that. It'll crash the stock market. You got hundreds of head bankers, heads of universities, heads of brokerage firms, the royalty, not
Bill
just
Gates as well.
Bill Gates. Oh, it just goes on and on. All of top Obama's people. It's all Democrats, 99%. But they came to Trump and they said, if you bring this out, it'll bring down the stock market. I probably said, let's not exaggerate, 500 times last year and a half that expect this to happen, because I was already told, don't expect this because this is what happened. And I said, you're making a mistake. They're going to stab you in the back. They said, no, they're not. And I said, that's wrong. But noticed Bondi 3 days ago or Thursday was in that congressional hearing.
Yeah.
And she goes, it'll crash the stock market and bring down the system, I tell you. And people got the clips of me saying that like 100 times. So, but finally Trump got, oh my God, it's going to crash it anyways. I've been double crossed. So this morning he said, you're all fired. This is people in the meeting.
Wow.
He said, you're all fired. He said, I want, by the way, behind the scenes, Trump used to cuss some, he else, you see when he's hoarse, he goes, I'm sorry, I'm screaming people. He said, listen, motherfuckers, I'm sick of being tied to this shit. I'm the one that dropped a dime on him 18 years ago. He goes, you're all fucking fired if it isn't fucking released. Do you fucking understand me? They released the whole list of anybody in his files. Oh. They released 3 million more files. And Trump said, I will fire every goddamn one of you. Because they came to him and said, sir, they say your wife's a hooker. They all this stuff that was all recycled from 9-10 years ago, which I said it was, and it came out. They said, oh, his wife's a hooker. Worker for Epstein. That wasn't true. He had a modeling agency that she was at. She wasn't at that. So they were fucking with him and telling him, you don't want to do this. They tricked him, and now Trump went thermonuclear. He finally listened to us. He finally listened to Roger Stone and others, and this is historic. And I'm told Congressman Tim Burchett and others have said, they have already been access to this, okay? And they said, if you think the Satanism and the cannibalism and the blood drinking is bad and what you saw before, they said what is in these new files is going to shake everybody. And they warned you, don't even look at it if you don't want to have nightmares. I mean, this is, folks, this is the Death Star. This will be a day long remembered. I mean, this is mega freaking massive.
Now, we have to continue because there's more to this. And before I show the remaining part of this, I just want to say, Alex, I hope you don't block me on Twitter for showing a community note. Okay? I hope you don't block me on Twitter for showing a community note. But Alex was community noted. It says, this is a lie. The DOJ simply released a statement with the list of names associated with Epstein in the files. There hasn't been a single new file released since the batch in late January 2026, which still includes heavy redacted 3 million plus files are still unreleased. Now that's one community note. And then there's another community note, and it says there was no cabinet meeting on February 25th, 2026. President Trump was at Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, and the last meeting was January 29th. So, I don't know if he's right or wrong, but this is a pretty bad one right here. Because, again, we'll see. I think that Alex says a lot of crazy things, and most of the time he's right. So we'll see. Now, this is from C-SPAN is one of the links, and The Hill is the other link. Now, don't block me for showing a community note, Alex. That's happened to me recently. It was a very difficult time. I had to get a lot of super chats to help cheer me up. So with that said, it doesn't mean Alex is lying at all. It does not, but it is the context that I think everybody needs to have added to it so that people understand. I believe that Trump absolutely talks to people like that behind the scenes. It's not that I believe it. Like, it's obvious. Like, any alpha male does do that. That's how leaders lead in alpha males. Alpha right there. So, we'll see. Now, Alex Jones has dropped another video today, and I have not listened to this. I have not listened to this video. 6 hours ago, the White House did not release all of the Epstein files yesterday. Here's Alex Jones today. Let's listen in. He's not drinking this time, hopefully.
It is Sunday, February 15th, 2026. I'm your host, Alex Jones. Thank you for tuning in to this transmission at Infowars.com/show on stations across the country, and of course on X at Real Alex Jones, as well as Rumble at the Alex Jones Show. All right. Yesterday at about 8:30, I'm getting ready to go from a hotel here in Miami and drive over to a popular podcast
And all of a sudden my phone blows up, and all these big credible sites and news groups and influencers are saying, oh my God, they just released all the rest of the Epstein files. Because they were holding back a large portion of them, while they were still redacting them. The names, the quote, victims, the victimizers, it seems mainly. And so I look at it, and I had been talking to folks about the White House last week, and Trump was starting to understand that this doesn't implicate him, as he always knew. So why not bring it forward? And that they were playing.
You're insane if you think Alex is controlled op. Well, I know you're talking probably to somebody in the chat, but I'm gonna be honest. I don't care if he's controlled opposition at this point. I don't think he is. But Alex Jones has spent decades calling out shit that nobody would call out. Alex Jones has spent decades doing what nobody else would do. He has destroyed his business. He has destroyed his image. He's destroyed any possibility of becoming because if he would have just played it safe, he would have still been on YouTube and probably had 40 million, 50 million subscribers at this point in time. So my point being is that I don't think he is controlled opposition, but if he was at this point after everything he's been through, I wouldn't be mad at him. I wouldn't be mad at the man at all. The man has done this for decades. He has plunged his hands into the filth for us for years when nobody else would do it. So at this point, even if there's things Alex says or does that I don't like, and he does a lot of that, he has earned so much goodwill with me that it doesn't matter. It's kind of like Adam Sandler movies. He made Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison. It doesn't matter what he does, bro. He's earned eternal respect. Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, Big Daddy, all those. Adam Sandler can do whatever the fuck he wants. He gave me greatness.
Planning to get rid of all the redactions, period. Because we need to know in these emails and other documents who these victimizers are. It's cut and dry. Raping of children, Satanism, cannibalism. I mean, there's even more insane stuff that's been found that I'll get to here in a few minutes. It's and a lot more with the evening tonight that Harris is going to be going over. So I was very excited because it was just confirmation of what.
Thank you, Nandy, for the 50. He says, let's be real. The Dems are never going to cooperate with Trump. Republicans are barely passing Trump's agenda. Heck, even 75% of Trump's appointees have been passed. You think any piece of legislation will pass if actual politicians on both sides get arrested? It's such a battle. It's such an absolute battle with him and trying to get anything in his agenda done. And people aren't even willing to look at that because they're so caught up in all this other stuff. Trump is fighting battles all the fucking time. All the time.
I was hearing, but I was like, wow, I thought they were just going to unredact the names, not automatically just release all these other files that they were processing through. Remember, it's 6 million, not 3 million. And so then I go do the podcast. And boom, I wake up this morning and people are like, hey, that's not the case. That's not what happened here. And so I went and checked it out, and it's not. They just unredacted a whole bunch of the stuff and put out a letter, a document with people that are most prominently mentioned in the files using a computer program, similar to what the Economist magazine did a few days before. And of course, I'm in there dozens and dozens of times. It's all.
I have to stop this because I got to show you something. Oh boy. Barack Hussein Obama posted this picture right here. Okay. Why am I showing you this? You might ask. Well, Stu Peters Network says, Grok, remove the transgender from this pic. You ready? AI is always on point when you're allowing AI to be honest. And this is what happens with AI all the time. AI, for some strange reason, tends to be very racist and very sexist. And then they have to alter and tweak the AI to make it less racist and less sexist. It's almost like when you allow AI to be honest, certain things happen. It's almost like AI notices trends and behavior patterns. It's almost like that's what AI does. AI just says, let me look at the statistics and I'll report back. Oh, I guess I'm not supposed to report on statistics. Anyway.
All negative. I'm exposing Pizzagate and pedophilia, and then I'm a horrible person, and they need to get me. I saw the left pick that up and just show them in the file, but not say why. That's a side issue. I responded to that last night. So this is similar to when they had the influencer show up. They gave them binders saying this is all the Epstein files. We looked at it with the first to break. This is old. I mean, it's not as bad as that, but it's in that territory where, boom, here it is. They've put it out, and it's 9:00 at night on Valentine's Day, and I go and report on it. And I wish that was the case. They have to release this. And, Trump's been warming towards that. He's been talking about.
Well, again, so Alex Jones did the same thing that everybody else does with the Epstein stuff. He is reacting emotionally, and that's it. He's reacting emotionally, and he's not taking time to actually look into it. Now, again, Alex has been doing this for a long time. He's been calling this stuff for a long time. So if anybody has the right to react emotionally, it's Alex Jones, to be clear.
About that. He thinks it's going to hurt innocent people. And he's talking about his friends getting embarrassed, like Ludnick. Well, there's no evidence of Ludnick raping kids, but Ludnick did lie. He did say that, he only met Epstein once and thought he was super creepy, him and his wife, and basically ran away. Then years later, he's at the island with his kids. Who else knows what's going on? But we continue to focus on all of that. What we need to focus on is why there aren't prosecutions of the people that are clearly in here talking about raping little girls. And we're talking about young ones. They try to keep it at the 14-year-olds, just leave it at that. It's way worse. As I said, 16, 17, 18 years ago, I was the first to say it's Satanism, it's the occult, because that's what happens in these circles. Satanism is always involved when you have organized groups doing this. I've been exposing this for over 30 years because the experts were alive then and were able to reveal the information to me, Ted Gunderson, John DeCamp, and so many others. So MTG did something when this first broke 2 weeks ago.
I love you, Alex. You are rambling big time.
She tweeted on X at Massey and said, listen, you need to search when you're able to get into Congress is able to go to the DOJ and see the unredacted files, pizza, beef jerky, things like that. Because then you can see the names of the men that are actually doing this. And still, here we are 2 weeks later, it's not happening. I'm not saying Massey's in on the cover-up. I'm not saying Massey's a bad guy. I'm saying you have all these Congress people now, Republican and Democrat, that can go in there and that can see the unredacted. And I say redacted, unredacted all, but we need to know, we need to understand here that this is about going after the people who committed all these crimes. Yes, keep putting pressure on Trump to release more. Yes, expose all that. That's great. But we have all of these thousands of emails.
I have an idea of what Trump should do. Trump should fire Bondi for the Epstein binders disaster, which, in my opinion, is the thing that really sparked the Epstein discussion to the next level. Now, the Epstein's discussion was always there. It was always there. But Bondi's binder moment, since that happened, it lit a fire on the Epstein topic, and it has not gone away since then. Because what happened is that the administration essentially made everybody believe, oh, shit, They're actually doing it. They've dropped the files. And since that moment, this has been the biggest distraction from an online standpoint. I still firmly believe that most people, everyday people, don't care about the Epstein topic. I truly believe that. I think this is a very popular internet topic, but it is dragging down the conversation, and it is creating so many headaches for the administration because of the online discussion. And in my opinion, Bondi giving that little bit of attention to it, it's like it hasn't stopped then.
I mean, there's new ones I'll get to coming up. We'll have the crew pull them up on screen. It's all posted on my X feed there and at Infowars.com, where you have Woody Allen and him and all these emails and text messages talking about eating humans, how it's healthy, grinding up bones so that you get roughage, so you get stuff to flush your guts out, like a salad. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. Talking about people as fiber, their bones as fiber. Made me think of the old Jack and the Beanstalk, fee, fi, fo, fum, I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be he alive or be he dead, I'll grind his bones to make my bread. I mean, this isn't a fairy tale. This is really happening. So the bottom of the rabbit hole is the Satanism and the genetic engineering and the blood transfusions and the taking the tissue out of the bone marrow of the babies and babies being produced at Zorro Ranch, that, by the way, was never searched. Did you know that? 10,000 acres, giant facility. This is all coming out. This is very healthy that people aren't buying anything from the system. This is very healthy. What I've been talking about Trump is, I don't know why, if he's not involved, we've never seen evidence of any of the crimes involve the cover-up because it's only hurting him. It's only hurting America.
I think that Trump, in my opinion, I think Trump knows that there is no amount of information that will satisfy the people that are demanding the information, with the exception of the only information that will satisfy the people that are demanding it are if Trump is arrested for these fake ideas that they think he did something. That's the only thing that will stop it. These people are never going to be satisfied. There's always going to be more. There's always someone else involved. There's always this, and it all leads back to Trump, Trump, Trump. That's why Trump knows it's a waste of fucking time, because the people that are asking for this stuff don't actually care. And that was just proven. You just dropped all of these names, and they're mad that you dropped too many names and you didn't give context to the names. That's what you asked for. You asked for no redactions and no context and no cover up. And now you're mad because we're not covering up or adding context to certain names. It's fucking insane, dude.
And the Democrats are just jumping for joy that they're so guilty. I mean, it's the Clintons and it's all the top Democrats and the Leonardo DiCaprio and the Hollywood people and Noam Chomsky and just on and on and on and on and on. Well, you got Steve Bannon in there, and then that's basically it. And the Steve Bannon stuff is business stuff. And I'm trying to go through all these emails. Looks like he might have been sniping at Trump or having his own agenda, but that's not good. I'll talk to Steve soon. I'm going to call him and talk to him about this. But the point is, everybody's focusing on Steve Bannon and Lednick lying. Great, focus on that. But what about all these Harvard professors and the heads of major universities and MIT, where they're talking about rape videos of children and how great it is and how to train a baby better to suck on what? I mean, this is just unbelievable. And just yesterday and today, I saw hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these. These are FBI reports, too, where they confirm a witness's report and then later find photos in the Epstein files of a little girl. I don't want to describe it here. I posted it on X with her vagina torn open, bleeding everywhere, men forcing their arms into her. This is prepubescent. This is, not in puberty. This is
okay. We got to stop there. Alex, it's not that, these disgusting things, they need to be exposed, but like, fucking hell, Alex. Good Lord. Anyway, I do think that it's an important time to bring this up because of all of the stuff that we see from all of the people that continue to talk about, you know, how important this topic is. We keep hearing this, and this drives me crazy. I've talked about this several times now, and I will continue to bring this up. And again, I have to call Alex Jones out on this. Alex Jones and all of the other people that are talking about how important this shit is. Why are none of them bringing Tim Tebow up? Why are none of them, which I believe Tim Tebow is one of the greatest human beings on the planet, okay? I think he's one of the most genuine human beings on this entire earth. I am not even being sarcastic with that. I think Tim Tebow is absolutely phenomenal. And he is actively working on exposing so much horrible behavior. And none of these prominent conservative voices that tell you how much they care about this topic are talking about Tebow.
I brought a map to share with you. Is this map? Every red dot on that. So first of all, that is a DOJ law enforcement map. It's called the red dot map. And this is over the last 30 days.
You are going to be, if you haven't seen this clip, if you've watched me, I've reacted to this a few times. If you haven't seen this, you're going to be mind blown that none of your favorite content creators on YouTube that's crying about Trump and not doing more, none of them have mentioned Tim Tebow and what he's doing. This is awful stuff.
In every red dot on that map is at least one unique IP address of individuals downloading, sharing, distributing child abuse and rape images under the age of 12. And there's over 111,000 of them just in the US of the last 30 days.
The last 30 days.
And I wanted to bring that because I think it brings to life so much of the evil that we're trying to face. And people will say, well, that's just over there and it's in those countries and it's all of those places. And it's not, Sean, it's right here in our backyard. It is right here. And out of everyone, and some people will say, okay, well they're just downloading and sharing it and distributing it, but they're not. 55 to 85% are also hands-on offenders. And your average offender has 13 victims in their lifetime. 13 victims. Every one of those red dots is there's a boy or girl that is suffering on the other end of what they're sharing, downloading, or distributing. And I wanted to share that with you because I know that your heart breaks for them. And I think that map brings to life the evil that we're trying to fight. And it's why, one of our hearts is to get the Renewed Hope Act passed through Congress, because it takes the law enforcement officers right now and victim identification officers at C3, and they're amazing. Some of my favorite people in the world, but there's 7 of them. Right.
And I saw some retard in the chat just said that's your side, Jeremy, talking about the people who are doing this. You're a dumbass, because if you look at that map, do you see where the heaviest areas are? Do you want to take a guess at what the heaviest areas are that we see? Do you want to guess if that's a blue area or a red area? Do you want to guess where the heaviest population is? Blue fucking cities and blue fucking states. Democratic controlled areas. Then that's not to say, obviously there's a lot of bad people no matter what the political affiliation is. But if you want to start talking about statistics and numbers, we know exactly where the heavy majority of that bad shit is.
Right now at C3.
There's how many?
7.
7 people to
yes.
combat.
And also,
and yeah, somebody said Florida looks bad. So Florida, Central Florida. So if you look, and I'd like to see that picture. So I am in the Panhandle. And the panhandle is like right there. And the panhandle looks completely white. But you get down here in the central Florida area, which is Orlando blue. Orlando's the bluest area of Florida because it's the biggest area in Florida. And so that is the most, you're going to get the most dims in that area, 100%. I can't see the map completely clear, but I would like to see a better breakdown if I could.
Right now at C3.
There's how many?
Seven
people to
yes, and
combat
also
all of
ICACs are
this.
working on that. We love ICAC, and we need to enhance their funding because they desperately need it. Internet crimes against children, and they're awesome. 62 locations around the country, but primarily the ones that are also working on this are at C3. And we want to get the Renewed Hope Act passed because it would take it from 7 to 200. And now we have a much greater chance if we have all of those officers that are trained and equipped to be fighting against this evil. And again, that's the last 30 days. And that's not getting into live streaming or sextortion or grooming or so.
Where's Owen Schroyer at to call this out? Why isn't Owen Schroyer calling out Tim Tebow and saying, we got to help this guy. We got to help protect the children, because he doesn't actually care. He only cares about, oh, the Trump administration is not doing enough. And we got to what about a guy that is trying, a guy who has a massive platform, a guy who walks the walk and talks the talk? There is not, I'm telling you right now, I will stake my entire reputation on Tim Tebow is the most genuine person that's fighting this battle. He is. I've been following this dude since he was in a high school because I'm an Alabama fan. And coming out of high school in the state of Florida, Tim Tebow was the #1 recruit in the nation. And there were 2 schools that he was going to pick, Alabama or Florida. And at the last minute, he picked Florida. And he went on to become the greatest college football player of all time. I hated him in college, just like any of you that are not Florida fans. You hated Tebow in college, but damn if you didn't respect this dude, because we all knew that this dude was a true leader and he had heart and passion. And when this guy was the biggest star in the country at the University of Florida, he had women throwing themselves at him. He was a college athlete. He was the most famous athlete in the country at the University of Florida. All these hot chicks are. And Tebow never bit. Tebow decided, I am going to stay pure until I get married. The media made fun of him. When he said that in a press conference, the media joked on him. They laughed at him. They made playful jokes at his expense because that's what the media does. Now he's got a beautiful family and he's out there fighting the good fight. He's out there pushing the word of God. He's praising Jesus. He's doing everything he can to fight this evil. And none of these pieces of garbage that get on Twitter every day telling you how important this topic is, none of them are bringing Tebow up. Why?
So many of the other issues we're fighting, that is just in peer-to-peer networks of them sharing and distributing child rape images under the age of 12.
This is 12 and under.
12 and under.
111,423 unique IP addresses.
Yes, he won the Heisman. He should have won 3 Heismans. He should have won 3 Heismans, but they were not going to give him 3 Heismans because he was the first sophomore ever to win the Heisman. And so they were not going to give him another Heisman, but he should have won 3 Heismans.
And some people will say, well, that's just, they're just downloading it and they're just sharing it. And no, it's not just that easy. You have to go in, you have to download it, just, a peer-to-peer, and then you have to be able to download all of these images, and then you're sharing them. It's not like this just happens by accident. It's not like, oh, I just looked at a bad picture, and it's not like this is a photo of a baby in a bathtub. No, so many of these are brutal abuse of children. And when we go back to those 50,000 boys and girls that are unknown in the ICSA database that we were talking about before, out of those 57,000, over 3,000 of them were infants or toddlers.
Oh, man.
And so if you say what's on our heart, and these are boys and girls that can't fight for themselves. They can't defend themselves. And yet so many of us, myself for so long, did nothing to defend or stand up for them. And it is our heart that we would rally an army, and maybe we would even declare a national emergency to fight this evil. If this is happening in our backyard, and out of all those that have been rescued from, or out of all those that have been, safeguarded and rescued from Renewed Hope 1, 2, and 3, more than half of those boys and girls have been right here in the U.S. So we think it's.
I do wonder if he's ever going to run for president one day. I don't know if he wants to get into the filth of politics. I definitely know he has what it takes, because he'll essentially become another Trump in the eyes of the media. They will try to demonize him and destroy him, and they will defame his character. But I don't think that it will land as well as it lands with Trump, because Trump is such a master at flipping their logic on them, whereas Tebow is he's not a guy that's he's not gonna post like memes of fat Chris Christie and stuff like that. So he's not educated to be a world leader. Come on. You know what? You know how many people said that about Trump in 2016? Buddha Cafe. You know how many people said that about Trump? You sound like people in 2016 saying that about Trump. That's exactly what people said about Trump in 2016. That's exactly the type of person we need in office. The type of person that you don't think is good enough to be in that position is exactly the type of person we need. I don't want someone that sounds like they know enough to take the job. I want someone that sounds like they don't know enough to take the job, and they're genuine and their heart is in the right place.
It's over there. It's over there. No, yes, it is happening in other places, but it is happening in our country, right here, in our neighborhoods, in our backyards, in our families. And then we get into the fight against live streaming. And do you know the #1 payer of—
Just wait for this. You're not going to like this. Listen to what he says.
And then we get into the fight against live streaming. And do you know the #1 payer of live stream rape of boys and girls around the world? U.S. Not close. And in peer-to-peer sharing, we're third. China, Russia, America. Sorry, I do get fired up about it.
I do too, man. It's how are you combating this?
Well, we're trying to do it in every area, in every way possible, whether that's with partnerships and nonprofits and law enforcement and rallying and task forces and legislation and lobbying, trying to get them to enhance the army per se in fighting this. And that's really what the Renewed Hope Act is for. But it's also getting the Renewed Hope operations more and more and more. And
somebody in the Trump administration should have him sit down with Trump. Now, I don't know how much Trump has so much on his plate, but somebody in the Trump administration needs to get Tim Tebow to sit down in the Oval Office with no cameras and no bullshit and let him talk to Trump one-on-one. End of discussion.
We're having more and more every day, but it's also, creating awareness. And I hate to use awareness because people say it all the time, and I don't want awareness for awareness sake. I want people to be aware so we act to do something. I think we really have to change laws and legislation. And I believe there's a lot of people in Congress and in DC that want to change it, but we have to get it done. We have to protect these boys and girls. And I know we have to figure out budgets and balances and all these important things. But what does it matter if we figure out a budget, but our boys and girls in our backyard are being raped and abused? Let's make the main thing the main thing. This should be a main thing. This has to be a main thing.
No matter where you're watching Sean Ryan show from,
so there you have it. If your favorite conservative influencer hasn't shown you that video, but they've talked nonstop about the Epstein files, probably pretty telling because they probably don't actually care about this topic. They just care about letting you know that we've got to take down the Trump administration because they're not exposing Epstein, but they're not telling you what's actually going on. And again, for people that don't know who Tim Tebow is, because some people don't, again, when I say he's the most genuine person, this dude has God on his side. Okay? No doubt in my mind. He has God on his side. This is when he was playing for the Denver Broncos, when, in my opinion, the NFL got rid of him because he was too impactful on a certain topic.
And right before I walk in this big room packed full of media, there's all these curtains out front, and I'm standing in front, and Patrick, our PR guy, there steps in front of me, said, "Timmy, do you realize what happened?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we just beat the Steelers. We're going to play the Patriots." He's like, "Yeah, I know what happened, dude. Like, why'd you ask me such a silly question?" And he goes, "No. Do you know what happened?" And I'm like, "I thought I did." "Patrick, what happened?" Because you can just see this different demeanor. And he said, "Timmy, no, you don't know what happened. Timmy, it's exactly 3 years from the night that you wore John 3:16 under your eyes." And I'm like, "Oh, wow, that's awesome. That's so cool." And he said, no, you don't realize it. Timmy, during the game, you threw for 316 yards. And I'm like, "What?" And he said, "Timmy, during the game, your yards per rush were 3.16. Your yards per completion were 31.6. The ratings for the night were 31.6. And the time of possession was 31.6. And during the night, over 90 million people have Googled John 3:16. It's the #1 trending thing all over. And I think he even mentioned something about there were so many people tweeting about it that like Twitter even froze or something like that. At least that was what I was told. And I was standing in that hallway. And I don't think I had the reaction that a lot of people think I did. Because I went from a high and a celebration and a joy to a conviction and a disappointment. Why? Because when he was telling me that, I knew that God was convicting me, saying, "Timmy, you thought tonight was about a game.
I wish they would have added the music.
You thought it was about all of these things. It's never just about a game. I didn't die for a game." And I was so convicted, still grateful that God would use something, but convicted, man, my eyes were on the wrong thing. My heart was in the wrong place. I knew you. I knew what you'd done, but my heart was here and my eyes were here. I knew the truth. I just wasn't focused on it. I was having all of these selfish ambitions and goals. And it was also this reminder, but I can even use it when your heart's not right. I can even use you. And right.
He needs to be on Joe Rogan ASAP. Again, I don't think he's been on Joe Rogan. He needs to be on Joe Rogan. He needs to be on all of these massive shows so people can signal boost him, so he can tell his story, and he can, again, I wish I had a bigger platform. I can't do any. Tim Tebow's 20 million times bigger than me, but at least I can let a few people know who he is. So MAGA Man, it says, isn't Disney World in Orlando? Yes. However, I wouldn't tie it to that's like Universal Studios, SeaWorld, Disney World. Orlando is the #1 tourist destination in the world, or at least in the country. It's the #1. Orlando is the most visited place in the country, like for tourism, for overseas tourism, because of the theme parks. So there's a ton going on, but it is a blue area. Miss SP says, thank you for showing this. No one wants to face reality. Save the children. You are welcome. I'm glad I could let a few people know about that. Always try to play that every few weeks because there's more people that are not aware of it. Twitter Clown says, when is the plane crash episode? Mudkips says, you should add the context that Charlie is tarded. Twisted Clown says, how is this fig at 17 million subs? Somalia subs. Charlie's a really good YouTuber. I listen, he's a really good YouTuber when he's not talking politics. Moist Critical is a fantastic YouTuber, in my opinion. Grinder Drone says, where is this Charlie? Where was this Charlie during COVID, fig? Dark Red Knight says, people need to stop pretending that Charlie is based. River Miles says dry and compromised. Sleazy says Fuentes, the not straight fed catboy who didn't get locked up on J6 like other federal assets. MAGA Mike says calls everyone shills, also supports children choosing genders, talking about Moist Critical. Jimmy Ray says all these both sides people are given millions of files. The only thing they can dig up is that Steve Bannon is a POS. Pretty much. Gerald Armstrong says Thomas Massey is in the files. Should we arrest him too? Samurai says Guthrie BS is a sad distraction from the fraud. Storm Shadow says I first saw Alex Jones on a local PBS station in Austin when he was in college. He came on right before a guy dressed as a clown talking current events. The Under Armour Gamer says I stopped watching Alex Jones because the Trump BS was so bad. Trent Johnson, Big Mike. Trent Johnson with the gifted membership. Matt Frog says the FBI can't look into this because they have to focus on garbage pulls and old ladies who were at January 6th. No time to protect kids. Site Team says Devon, get the wood chipper. Also, you're fascinating to talk to. Teresa says that Tim Tebow Foundation for the map. Evil Black Cat says we need less politicians and more statesmen. Techno Viking Vance says Tebow sounds like John Carter of Mars. And over on Rumble, well, whatever says my channel is under tax. And with that, we're going to call it a night, everyone. I plan on covering the Rubio speech tomorrow night. It's probably gonna be a late stream, but I will be covering the Rubio speech in its entirety along with the reaction to it. So I can't wait to do that. So we're going to call it there. Over 3,000 people on this dead channel. Thank you guys so much for the support. I cannot believe it. We don't even have to work the algorithm and 3,000 plus showing up. I think we peaked at like 3,500 people. Not even working the algorithm. Thank you guys. Make sure you go. If you're a Reddit person, you can join the Reddit CobraCast. Or if you're a Twitter person, you can join our Twitter community, which is the Snake Pit. If you're interested, right here. And I do try to send notifications out over there, or people can send notifications out when I'm going live. So, and feel free to do that. If you're part of these groups and if you see that I'm going live, feel free to post a link. Even if you do it multiple times, it helps more people know that we're going live for people that don't get the YouTube notifications. So I do appreciate it. I hope you guys have a good evening, and we will talk to you later. Bye, everyone.